We have on such a wonderful sunny day a girl who's glowing with radiance. Sally Griffyn!
Oh.
Yeah, just back from America, I would add. And the lady is, well, you could say, a millionaire yogi. She can certainly turn the heads of most people who do yoga. She also does lots of other things as well. She's been festival organising, and she's often required to give her advice on what you should and what you shouldn't do. So we thought we'd catch up with her and find out what you should and shouldn't do, particularly now, because you were not allowed to mention it, but I am. She's going to move to Mexico. Don't listen, IRS. Aren't you?
I am.
Typically in Mexico, you can't get mortgages, so you've got to carry the gold over there.
You've got to carry the gold with you. So that's part of what I'm doing, is gathering the gold by selling my flat to leave and go and live a life by the beach, actually, and do loads of coaching from there. So yeah.
And the internet
happy.
fortunately makes that happen, isn't it? You can do that from virtually anywhere.
Yeah.
And your coaching side is, well, I think it's expanded considerably in the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. So I mean, my brand is called Millionaire Yogi, and I work with a lot of people to create a blueprint for a millionaire level business. But I really am interested in working with well-being, people in well-being, and dragging people out of the corporate golden handcuffs and bringing them barefoot in business. And I think there's a real need for it. You know, there's a lot of spiritual people that I work with, but they aren't able to sort of, you know, they don't even want to talk about money. And so the spiritual group need to learn a lot about money. I've always been an entrepreneur, so I've been involved in money. And then there's people in the corporate world who need to escape their corporate life and experience the spiritual while also making money. So that's what I do. I train entrepreneurs now.
And it's exciting, isn't it? And obviously, being that close to America, people will want to come and see you in Mexico. Ta-da.
Yes, well, I'll run retreats there. So the aim of going to Mexico is because one of the things I do is I always do work in sacred sites. And I've always run things in Glastonbury because it's like that here for us. I just feel there are certain places that are open where you get more insights, and you know, there's a certain special air about them. And Tulum is like that. So Mexico, Tulum, same kind of vibe, but in Mexico. I'm very near to America, so people from America can fly down easily within an hour or two and still experience all the coaching, but also experience this kind of feeling, connection with nature and connection with a sacred site. There's a Mayan temple there called the Temple of the Winds. So
Which is rather impressive.
it's rather
isn't it?
nice,
Really?
yeah.
You wouldn't pick anywhere just ordinary, would you, Sally?
No, I wouldn't.
But that's part of finding your niche, is something that you're very much a promoter of, that you encourage people to find something that makes them the step up from just, I'll teach yoga, I'll teach Reiki, to find the next step up, so that they then have, if you like, a quantifiable difference, point of difference in advertising, so that people can say, that's the person who does this.
So one of the things that I teach is I teach people to create a super niche. And why do I do that? Because niche isn't good enough anymore. We're moving into a world where there's automation everywhere, and you are going to become redundant, and corporate Britain and America are going to become redundant. So a lot of people who have great ideas need to push it that much more to create a super niche. And what's the difference? With a niche, I could say that yoga is a niche. And if I said then even yin yoga or vinyasa flow yoga, there's still niche. There's nothing that will make you stand out. You'll still have loads of competition, and you will still have very low money to do with that. And every 3 weeks we have a new fresh batch of thousands of fresh new yoga teachers. Hundreds probably, but within years, thousands. And so what's going to distinguish you from anyone else, you know? So I teach people to derive super niches, and there's a course that I teach, is Millionaire Yogi Coaching, but the aim is so that you are so unique by the end of it that there will be no competition, and those are the businesses that will really survive in the next few years.
Which is important if you're trying to take yoga and wellness and well-being forward, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is.
And just having, shall we say, half the plan is not good enough.
No, it isn't. And I think the other thing is we've got some really bad examples of leaders on the planet right now. I shall not mention anybody in America. However, if we create spiritual systems and make those people really strong in them, those leaders are going to be amazing. They're going to affect change that's really going to be good for the planet. So my personal ambition is to create 1 million millionaires who are going to give back to the planet, and let's see what the difference on the planet would be. It would be just simply amazing. Like if we have people with a consciousness actually teaching and leading, and so that's the background to it.
Well, I think I know it's a passion you really have.
Yeah.
And I know you're on the way to doing it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Sort of climbing the pole of creating millionaires. But I think it's nice to see success in things like this, because it's often people say, "Oh, I'm going to create 1 million millionaires," and you never hear how far they're doing or what they're doing.
Yeah.
And from the reaction and certainly responses I get when we talk about you and yourself, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, Sally down there," and all of them are not ordinary reactions. They're not I would teach yoga in Reading and that's the only thing I do. Yeah, really, that's none of your people have actually gone that route. They've all found the super niche, but also they are practicing it actively.
Yeah.
Which must make you very happy.
Makes me very happy, and I mean, it's an audacious statement to say that, but let's think, if I could influence, let's say, Apple, for instance, I could affect those 1 million millionaires just like that, So it's who you're influencing and how you're affecting them. It's not like you start with one by one, but then after a while, say we hit an internet group and cause a change in that, well, it's going to go viral and it's going to be very easy to affect 1 million millionaires, Yeah.
So if I was to say, what is your top tip for the day when you start your day, what would you say it is?
Top tip for the day. I absolutely believe that if you're going to create anything powerful, you have to do the thing that you love. So I call it something like the sacred hour. So there's all this gym talk with the power hour, like how to get the most out of say 45 minutes, the power hour, to get yourself looking buff and fit. I'm the opposite. I teach the sacred hours. So drop all those things that you think you ought to be doing and go to the thing that you love. So it might be standing in nature under a tree. It might be watching a sunset. It might be being with your children. It might be, speaking on the phone. Whatever it is, start to indulge yourself in the thing that you truly love. That's the root foundation of a super niche. So I'll give you an example. Like years ago, I walked up a mountain in India and got a kind of download. I meditated. And it was simply happiness is a choice. Right? And I didn't know that at that time. I was really angst-ridden in London. I was super cool. Everybody else was too. But when I really got that happiness is a choice, and then the latter part of the information came down, which was you'll never be happy doing 9 to 5. And I was really clear about that in my late 20s. I will never be happy doing a 9 to 5 job. So when I got back to England after being in India, they'd given my job away. And I was working in film at that time. I had to deal with this idea of, I don't have my 9 to 5 job, so I was irritated, but at the same time, it's the best gift I could ever have. And if you know something like that about yourself, like I'm miserable in 9 to 5, but when I'm not in 9 to 5, I'm like a powerhouse. I have so much energy. From morning till late night, I am just like full of ideas, full of energy. So go and seek out that which you love. And that will be the beginning of your super niche.
Well, you certainly are in the super niche, my dear, because I think you're absolutely wonderful. I know you work with us a lot on The Way Forward, the radio show, and all I can say is people thoroughly enjoy being with you and in your company. Sally, thanks so much for being on the show.
Stuart.
We will get you to come back just before you go off to Mexico, because I want to hear all about the Mayan temple.
Mayans.
And I know you know a lot about that.